As it happened in that section of Shreveport, Louisiana, the local church had planned a revival service, and it was beginning that first night. And the whole family, the Dobson family, decided to meet here at their parents' house, which is called the Big House. And they were all going to go together. Now, there were 5 boys and 1 girl, and they jammed into the car out in front like this. And at that point, my dad's older brother, Willis, who found the Lord when he was 9 years of age, and he followed him all the way through his life till he died at 74, had a deep heart for the spiritual welfare of his brothers, and especially my dad. And he said to the other brothers, "Where's Jim?" Yeah, he noticed that he wasn't in the car. And one of them said, "No, he's not going." He said he wasn't going to go. Willis got out of the car and walked back into the house and began looking for my dad. He looked for him all over the house, calling his name. My dad was hiding over on the side porch in a chair, and he could hear his brother Willis calling him, but he didn't answer. And finally, Willis located him. And he came quietly and stood before his brother. And he said, "Jim, aren't you going to the service tonight?" My dad was looking at the floor. And he said, "No, Willis, I'm not going. I'm not going tonight, and I'm not ever going again." Willis did not answer him. But as my dad looked at the floor, he saw his brother's shoes. And big tears were splashing on his shoes. And my dad said to himself, "Well, I will go just for him, if it means that much to him." So he came and got into the car with the others, and they went to the service. It was in a beautiful church, much like this one, that the revival meeting was being held. And the local townspeople came out in droves. I mean, every single seat was taken. The church was completely full. And they were ready to start, and in fact had begun. And the doors opened, and the Dobson family came in. They were obviously late because my dad had made them late. And the only seats available were on the front row. So they came in and walked down this center aisle. And as they were walking down this aisle, a singer was singing. And the words of her song, the lyrics, communicated to my dad's heart. And all at once he yielded. He began to weep, and he had his own private conversation with God, not in words, but in his heart. And he said, "All right, Lord, I will do what you want. Whatever you ask. You want me to preach? I will be a preacher. I haven't wanted to, but I will, if that's what you want. I'll give up my art, which has been the passion of my life. I'll let it go if that's what you want." And he came on down. He was still crying, and he sat in the front bench there. And when the singer sat down, the evangelist, Reverend Bona Fleming, got up and came over to the altar and put his foot on the altar and leaned forward and pointed directly at my dad and said, "Young man, you, right there, stand up." And my dad stood. And he said, "Now turn around and tell all these people what the Lord did for you when that singer was singing." And he gave his first testimony of what God had done for him. And he was in his early 20s at that time. He lived to be 66, but he never looked back. and he gave his life to the ministry. And he was responsible for tens of thousands of people finding the Lord through his ministry. And God did a powerful work in his life. And it started in that revival meeting on that first night in the church, sitting on the front seat.